And we're talking today with Amelia Akins. And Amelia, you've got just a terrible situation going on, but hopefully the Lord is intervening in your behalf. Your son Scott Akins, who plays football for James Bowie High School, Sims, Texas, in Bowie County, Northeast Texas, he was seriously injured in a football game. Well, really, it's been about a month ago. Could you tell us what night that was and exactly what happened to kick this all off?
Well, they were playing at Maud, and it was on September the 22nd, Friday night, and he played the entire game, but he took a hit in the game, and towards the end of the game, he was involved in a tackle, and he got stomped on pretty hard in the groin, just as a result of the tackle. Nothing foul play, nothing like that. It's just football.
Right.
He actually walked off the field and was still talking at that point. And he just, once they got him to the sidelines, he kind of went out. And we took him to the hospital, and he suffered a severe brain bleed and had to have emergency surgery to remove part of his skull and relieve the pressure and stop the brain bleed.
All right, that was done in Texarkana?
Yes.
And then he was airlifted to Little Rock, correct?
Yes. As soon as they were going to airlift him, so many things have just kind of fell into place, and all I can say, and the only way that I can explain it is that our Lord above had him the entire time and still has him. The neuro that opened him up wasn't even on call that night. And he rushed in because Scott wouldn't have made the flight. He wouldn't have survived it. And so he rushed in and done the surgery right then and there. And then they flew us to Little Rock. And we got to Little Rock wee hours of the morning, that Saturday morning. And we have been in ICU ever since. We are on day 32.
Now, there's been some encouraging things and some slight improvement. Can you tell us how he's doing?
Yes. So Scott's damage was to multiple areas of the brain, as well as the brain stem. He suffered what they call catastrophic damage. They really never expected him to wake up, to be quite frank, and that's kind of hard for me to say, but they didn't. The MRI results were extreme, and not very promising, not very hopeful. But on day 17, Scott opened his eyes for the first time, just one first, and then within a few days, he was opening both of them. He had continued to swell in his head for a long time, and that has since stopped and gone down. He can follow simple hand commands occasionally. He's not 100% consistent with it because of the extent of injury. He can move his head side to side. Yesterday, he held his head up for the first time for about 30 seconds or so, which doesn't seem like much, but it's amazing for Scott. He kind of pulls away from you when you do certain things, which is him doing stuff. He makes facial expressions at us. So, and that's one thing that they said is a person, that's our way of communicating, that's individual to a person's personality and things. So the fact that he does that tells me that he knows kind of what's going on. We know that he can hear us. We know that he can understand to a certain point. We're not sure much more of that until we start seeing him do things. It just all depends on Scott. Ophthalmology came in. His eyes are healthy, so we know he sees shapes and lights right now. So as the brain heals, if it heals to a certain point in one of the areas that he was damaged, he will regain his sight as well. So there's a lot of hopeful signs.
So I guess they're hopeful that someday soon maybe he can get out of ICU and go to some type of rehab?
Yes, we are hoping today They are trying to get him ready, and he will move to another floor for under the pulmonology team, and not rehab just yet. Um, we've got to get him a little further along before we can get him into the rehab side of it. So we've got kind of a detour right now, but that's okay. No matter how long it takes, we're going to get there. I fully believe in him.
Well, one thing I know for sure is that that you have been appreciating the prayers out there. I've been watching it on Facebook, and it's just been incredible. There is a site on Facebook if people want to go to, I guess, find out about what's going on with Scott and to pray and to find out what is that Facebook site.
It's on Facebook. It's Pray for Scott Akins is his Facebook group. I'll try to post updates daily with what we're doing and what's going on so that people can follow his story. The more prayers we get for him, the better. He is going to need every bit of prayer we can possibly get. We're doing different things for him to help with medical expenses. We actually have a benefit auction going on November the 4th. As well, and it's all that stuff is all on his Facebook page. So we're just asking for prayers.
Right, I understand that, and certainly we're going to give you our prayers. Sometimes that's all we can do, but that's a great thing right there.
That's wonderful.
Is to give prayers.
They're working. We can see it.
I see where they've been having signs, T-shirts, things like that made up that you can put in your yard and say you're praying for him and things like that.
Yes. We have car magnets, signs, T-shirts. I think there's hats coming, I believe. We don't really leave his side here, but our community and our school, let me just commend how wonderful they have been, and even the surrounding schools. Maud themselves done a fundraiser for Scott and they have a Facebook page, 2 teams, 1 cause, and it's James Bowie and Maud coming together to fight for Scott. And so it's just been overwhelmingly, I can't even express how humbled we are by it all.
Well, Amelia, we'll continue to pray for him here, and I know that y'all are going to be by his side the whole time, and hopefully we can have that day where he returns back to James Bowie.
Yes, absolutely.